Hey guys, Neil JT here, and I am ready to teach you guys how to be your most authentic self. Today, what I thought about starting with would be, how do you get started? Where do you go? What's the steps you take? Do you just start getting rid of things? Do you start adding things in? Do you do meditation? Do you do this? Where do you start in the grand scheme of things? And I thought about when I used to be a personal trainer. Actually, when I was a heroin addict in 2015, I stopped doing drugs and then I became a personal trainer. And what I noticed the most with people that were trying to change is that, after January 1st, what always happens, everyone comes in, they're like, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna lose 30 pounds of fat and gain 15 pounds of muscle. Like just the most outrageous things, and everyone always falls off. After a month, the gyms are empty again, no one's going in. Why is that? The reason is because they still have an attachment to their old identity and they haven't taken into their new identity. So they still believe that they are the old identity. They're still going through the motions, whatever. They're smoking cigarettes. They're not worthy of doing this or that. So they still believe that they have an attachment to their old identity. They haven't taken into accountability for their new identity. So everything is still auto-programmed for who they used to be and not who they want to be. So one thing I do to become better and to grow and to learn is I envision myself every day as the person I want to be. So, and that comes down to really feeling it too. And that's kind of the hardest part, is actually feeling it. So I'll wake up and I'll envision who I'm gonna be, who I am in 6 months, in a year, and visually visualize that through my own eyes and see how I'm living. And that's how you switch into your new identity, and you keep doing that every day. And as you do that over time, you develop the pattern and you begin to see the positive changes in your life, and you're like, oh, okay. And you reward your brain with those dopamine, serotonin hits when you start getting that pleasure from going on the right path, changing over to your new identity. So that's the switch I see with people. When I was a personal trainer, I saw it all the time. People wouldn't make it past 2-3 weeks. So that's really where it starts, is all in the belief system. As Dr. Joe Dispenza, I think, he had a book called Becoming the Supernatural, and it's all about rewiring your brain, and we are what we believe. And I think Will Smith, he said this a few years ago, and everyone always used to say it, those who say they can or can't are usually right. Something like that. And that's all with the belief system. If you believe you can do something, then you can do it. If you believe you can't, then you can't. So it really comes down to everything you believe, everything we've been taught, our ego, everything that society has pushed into our brains. So it really comes down to getting back to our identity, who we used to be and who we want to be. And we have to believe that we can transfer into that person of being who we want to be. Usually it takes some traumas, or maybe for me it was hitting rock bottom. Because when you hit rock bottom, it's you have no choice. You have to change. There's no other option. So you get forced and pressured into doing that. But for people that say they don't hit rock bottom or just are ready to change, I say that 21 days is the magic number. 21 days to meditate, 21 days to yoga, 21 days to stop drinking caffeine, 21 days to give up porn, 21 days to start reading books, 21 days to journal, 21 days, etc. The list goes on and on. But you need to create this new pattern in your mind, and eventually after that new pattern becomes implanted, now you have a belief. So that's really what it stems down to. That's, for me, the first couple weeks with a few of those was very, very difficult, and then it became nothing. But what I say as well is become aware of everything in your life, everything you do, everything you don't do. This is really the foundation. What I used to do is I would write down all the pros and cons in my life, all the things I'm grateful for, all the things I want to change. And then again, back to feel how you want to see yourself in 6 months, in a year, and feel that every day. Try and embody it. But become aware of everything going on in your life, all your thoughts. For me, that was a huge one. I realized I was living in the future. most of the time throughout the day. I'd spend probably 400, 500 thoughts in my head would be in the future. And that's most of the world, because people aren't happy with their current reality. The present moment is not good enough for them, so they constantly push themselves into the future. And a lot of people that push themselves into the past are usually worriers or anxious people that think about things that have happened to them or things that have been done wrong to them. For me, I still occasionally will think about stuff in the past, but it's mostly for me future, because I know I'm not where I want to be. So I'm always constantly putting myself in the future, living daydreams, fantasies, having a very active imagination. And one of the things I learned with the awareness is, which Eckhart Tolle talks about in his book, The Power of Now, about being in the present moment. He says to create, not create, but kind of have a higher self observer, like above your thoughts kind of. And he's just observing what's happening. So it's like a version of yourself, just like a higher self, and you're observing your thoughts. And you have to observe your thoughts from a neutral standpoint, from neutrality, with no judgment, therefore that you don't create any feelings, but you can just become aware of what your thoughts and everything that's going on in your brain from day to day. And you'll start to realize what you think about most of the time are your fears, judgments of other people. Oh, what's going on at work tomorrow? Oh, I got to do this presentation, etc., etc., etc. And you'll realize that 99% of your day, you are not living in the present moment. The only way to figure this out is with awareness. So that was one of the biggest things in the beginning that helped me along my path, is you have to become aware of everything. Once you become aware, then you can start changing things. If you're not aware, you don't know what to change. If you're like, yeah, I want to make a change, and someone asks you, well, what do you want to change? I don't know. Like, you have to know like what you're aware of and what you're not aware of. So for me, like being in the present moment, I created affirmations pretty much that keep me, or affirmations or mantras, things I say or I'll look in the mirror and say to myself throughout the day, and that'll keep me in the present moment and also keep me in the right frame of mind. But the affirmations, that's the same thing as the I can versus I can't. So I used to write down on a piece of paper, I can become a millionaire, or I can whatever, and I just write it like 50 times. And as you keep writing it, you're rewiring your subconscious to actually believe that is possible. If you wrote I can't, you're going to believe that you can't. But the affirmations or the mantras, that can go so many different ways. I've pushed it all the way to saying I am smart, I am funny, I am good looking, I am fit, and I'll just keep going. And that's how you build your new identity, your new belief system. You have to truly believe that you can make the positive changes. So it all ties in together, the belief, the new identity, the awareness, the 21 days. That's really all the starting point. When you can start to believe, you become aware of your surroundings, everything you're thinking about day to day, that's when everything will switch, because you'll become aware of how you've been living and be like, I'm ready to change. I believe I can change. And so the trick is that you have to embody it every day. And after you hit the 21 days, that's where it shifts into your new identity. And so once you shift into that new identity, your belief system is completely getting rewired, and you'll find that you'll get pleasure out of the things that you have attained now in your life, versus before you get pain. So in the 21 days, if you give up caffeine in day 1 to like day 10, 11, 12, those are typically the hardest days, you're getting pain from it, right? So in the beginning, this is your old identity. You've been drinking coffee for, however long, 10 years, and then you try and give it up. That first 2 weeks is rough. You get pain out of it. So your new identity that you're trying to go towards is going to fight and want to go back to your old identity, because your ego is going to be saying, hey, we don't like this. Like, this isn't who you are. What are you doing? We don't feel good. You're more comfortable back here. And you're going to be like, okay, yeah, you're right. Let's just have that cup of coffee. Fall back off the wagon. Same thing with all the personal trainer clients I used to have. Same thing would happen. Oh yeah, all right, gonna go to the gym 6 days a week. what happens on the seventh day? Then they go out for donuts and everything. They're like, oh yeah, donuts, that made me feel good. Going to the gym doesn't make me feel good. I get pain when I go to the gym. So you got to switch into knowing that it's actually flip-flopped. Once you get through that hard period, you're going to get the pleasure all the time. That's the thing. Most people don't see that because they haven't made it to that point yet. You have to get through all the bullshit to get the good out of it. Anything. When I had to give up TV, that was the hardest. That was one of the hardest things for me. I'll tell you a little brief story, but the first thing I ever wanted to do in life was be an actor. When I was 4 years old, I was like, I want to be an actor. That's what I said to my mom. I'm like, I'm going to be an actor. And my whole life, up until 19, I thought I was going to do that. And then pretty much my stepmom, my dad that I live with, would put me down all the time and say, you're not going to be an actor. No one makes it. Everyone that goes to Hollywood is a pipe dream. You're not going to make it. You're going to be just a surf bum. And so they implanted that in my brain. And so I had a new belief system about that. And so then when I auditioned to get into the best acting school in the country when I was 19 and was accepted, I was like, wow, I'm accepted. I lived in New York at the time, and it was in Los Angeles, Stella Adler. And I was like, oh man, yeah, I'm ready to go, like this, blah, 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 blah. And I just never went because I had the belief in my head that I'm not gonna make it. I believed, can versus can't, I believed I couldn't do it. So I never went. That's one regret I still have to this day. So you really have to see where your belief system is and change your identity. And as you change your identity, you will be able to get that pleasure out of it and get rid of the pain. It's just the initial that you have to get past, and that's what's hard for a lot of people. And so back to what I was saying about TV, I love TV more than anything. Movies, like I've seen every movie a million times, and like for me, like not watching TV daily was like detrimental. I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna be able to like live like this? I've been watching TV every day for 30 years. Like, how do I do that? Like, I wanted to be an actor my whole life. Like, I'm gonna give up TV. And I had to change my identity. I had to believe that I could do it. And I remember it took me, I think I want to say 2 weeks of building the identity of me not watching TV anymore for the rest of my life. Like being able to watch TV, like having a movie night with like my family or kids one day, or going out for a movie, like that's fine, but not my pattern of how I watch TV every night. Been doing that for 30 years. So I had to visualize and see myself for the rest of my life not watching TV, and visualize the person I wanted to be, making videos, what I'm passionate about, working out, doing fitness, being that person and seeing it and living through those eyes. And as I did that, then it became easier and easier and easier to let go of that old belief system that this is who I am. I need to watch TV every day. That's who I am. I'm the guy that watches TV before bed for 2 hours every night. Not that that's a bad thing, but when you're trying to get certain places in life, you know, sometimes you got to give up the things you want to get to the end of the road, to get that goal at the end. So it took me a little while, but as I switched my identity and I believed that this is who I'm going to be, I gave it up. And I'm not even kidding you guys. Like day 2, I didn't even think about it. I thought it was going to be the hardest thing in the world to give up. Like 30 years every day of TV. It's like a smoker smoking for 70 years to the end of their life and them just being like, yeah, I'm going to quit. Like, it's very difficult. So day 2, like no big deal. I was like, wow, this is normal. Like, it's easy. The only, I don't want to say issue, but the only thing I had to figure out was how to fill my time now. Now I had an extra couple hours every day, which I replaced with journaling and reading. But that's just a little side story to show you guys that it all comes down to your belief system. And as soon as you start believing, you start embodying that new identity of who you want to be and living that and seeing it through the eyes and feeling it every day, that's who you'll be. If you want to be a fitness model and you're not in shape at all and you're 100 pounds overweight, if you see that as yourself every day, you feel it, you feel that you are that, and you start shifting your belief and your identity starts switching over to that, as you start to work out, as you make it past that 21-day mark, you're gonna start getting through the pain and it's gonna start giving you pleasure, right? What happens in the first couple weeks when you're trying to lose weight? It sucks, it's painful, and you don't see results. But then what happens as soon as you start seeing results? You start getting pleasure from it. Your brain starts associating pleasure with the pain that you've been getting. So now it becomes into your new identity, and you've triggered it in your mind like, oh, I get pleasure from this. I need to keep doing this. I need to keep going harder and harder and harder. And that's how it is with everything in life. You want to be a successful business person, a millionaire, whatever. You keep doing that, switch over to knowing that it's going to be pleasure at the end of the road and switching into a new identity. Believe that you can do it. That's how it's going to happen. So I know it was kind of like a tangent off of a few things there, but this is kind of the starting point that I wanted to get everyone aware of and just kind of show you that it really comes down to just you believing. That's it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much progress you have on someone else, your chapter versus their chapter. It doesn't matter if I'm on chapter 15 and someone's on chapter 1 in their fitness journey. It doesn't matter. If they believe more so that they can do it, then they're going to do it. So I hope that was insightful for everyone. I'm really excited to keep making these videos. I'm super passionate about this, about being your most authentic self. As you can see, I try and be as genuine as possible when I'm doing these videos. I don't script anything. I wrote like 5 words down to just remember some things, but being authentic, I just want it to be flowing naturally. So if I have some mess ups here and there, I'm sorry. I'm human. But yeah, until next time, guys, please hit that like button and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.